Alright, so, well, my friends, the Oilers currently playing, or you're watching this after the Oilers have more than likely lost to the LA Kings, currently down 4-1. You may hear the game in the background if Jack Michaels gets very excited. But, my friends, it's 10 o'clock on a Monday night. A man like me's got to get to work for 8 in the morning, and I'm sorry, I don't care who I am. Yes, I say I'm an Oilers fan first, but reality is a guy like me's got to get to bed and get ready for work in the morning, and the Oilers in January just are not that important enough to dictate my life at work. However, friends, as we get set for this one, there's a lot of news to get to, and I figure that's where we got to get this done tonight because, simply put, there is too much not to say anything. This is Dolynny TV. Welcome aboard to the channel this evening. I hope you've been enjoying the game so far. Hope you had a great day at work, at school, wherever you've been today. I hope it was a good one. Hey, if you were rocking out at home on holidays, that's even better. But friends, before we get there, I want you to consider hitting that subscribe button here on Dolynny TV. I know I've been saying this a lot lately, and it's just kind of the thing that happens when you get close to a big milestone is you stall out for 5 or 10 days. Currently at 9,903 subscribers on the channel. If you'd be so kind to consider helping me towards my goal of 10,000, that'd be friggin' tastic as we get going. I'm hearing another penalty called. It just don't friggin' matter tonight. You can tell I'm a little upset at the Oilers, and we'll talk for good reason why. But number one off for the Oilers today, they recalled Vinny Desharnais. He will play against the Anaheim Ducks in the next game, I believe it is. You tell me when we play the Anaheim Ducks again. This whole California road trip, every season when we do the California road trip, my brain goes fuzzy for about a week. It just like the Oilers don't actually exist because I'm just never up long enough to catch the whole thing and make it reality. We either win or we lose or we do 500, and it just don't matter to me at the end of the day. It's just another part in the chapter that is the month, that is the year, that is the season, that is the calendar. It just is what it is. Tonight, of course, one of those nights where I should probably be in bed not caring about what this Oilers team is going to do because we're probably not going to win. We're down 4-1 in the third or second period midway through. Just doesn't matter. But the reason we're doing this video, number one, is we've talked about the Vinny Desharnais call up. Stuart Skinner, who has been pulled tonight, will head up to Edmonton. Well, I pretty much think, and this is throw me a conspiracy theory all you want, is I think the Oilers pulled Stuart Skinner following this game, this third goal from the LA Kings, simply because it may be go time up in Edmonton. I don't think that they were pulling him because it was his fault. I don't think it's a wake up call for the team. I think when you've got a expecting father with a baby about 4 hours away, plane ride 4 hours away, and an hour's drive to the airport or from the airport to the hospital. And he was only scheduled to be on the trip for this game because this LA game means so much. And he gives up 3 goals all on the power play. It just adds up that there's a little bit more added to this, and I think that it probably will come out pregame. I'm probably going to come out of this one smiling if my intuitions are correct. Trust me, I've got the life experience now, and as I've seen kind of friends and stuff go through this, is you know what? I imagine Baby Skinner has something to say about why Stuart Skinner was pulled in tonight's hockey game. Again, I might be a completely crankcase, conspiracy theorist, whatever you want to say, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, is the dude's expecting a kid, and he gives up 3 goals. Not really his fault. He's yanked, and we've got 4 games in 6 days in a California road trip that means so much to the season. There's got to be more to it, right? I'm not the only crazy one here thinking it. I just got to put something verbal out there to say it because I'm the only one thinking it, it seems like, on my Twitter timeline tonight. So that's that. Stuart Skinner yanked tonight. We get into the second half of that is if it's not Stuart Skinner having a baby tonight before he gets home, simply put, I think it's Jay Woodcroft just is is out of ideas, and I love Jay Woodcroft to the core. I believed he would be the solution in Edmonton, and he was. He brought us to a promised land we hadn't been since 0506. More than half my life ago, Jay Woodcroft finally delivered another performance for the ages. That's great. This season, and you can blame the defense, you can blame the goaltending, Jay Woodcroft has not done enough as the head coach of this team to help this team win the games it should. So if this is a Jay Woodcroft pulling Skinner to do something in the game kind of thing, again, the Kings score the next goal. It's again on the power play. It just simply does not matter at this point. You're trying to overcoach and you're hurting yourself. And Jay, I, I say this because I love the man, is he is part of the problem currently. But the only solution that can come from this is Jay to stop overcoaching. You're not firing him. He signed a 3-year contract. You're not going to have the same kind of results this year if you fire Jay Woodcroft in February and run to the third round. It's physically impossible. At what point is it madness to continually fire coaches that continue to do the same thing, right? Is McClellan, Hitchcock, and Tippett, and now Woodcroft all guilty of the same thing? They've all had a different mix of players. I mean, you can say they're all the same type of player. You got the same top end players, whatever. But at the end of the day, we've had different players throughout this, and it's always been the coach ending up in the same position at some point or another. Ken Hitchcock ended up there the fastest out of all of them. Todd McClellan, Milan Lucic being a different player might change a little bit of what happened there. Jay Woodcroft ending up where he has he is just overcoaching himself to death. Dave Tippett just coached himself out of a job. And unfortunately, if Jay Woodcroft continues to overcoach, he will coach himself out of a job sooner rather than later, but not immediately. All right, that's that. Secondary to that, Calvin Pickard, right? We now know that whether Stuart Skinner leaves before the game ends or leaves when the game ends, Calvin Pickard will be recalled on an emergency basis, I imagine, to be the backup goaltender to Jack Campbell for the foreseeable future before the Edmonton Oilers get home. That's where we're currently sitting. Obviously, that move announced by Mark Spector. Vinny Desharnais plays against the Anaheim Ducks, and in EA, we get our look at our first chance to see our third string goaltender this season, whether it's because he's been injured a little bit and that prevented Jack Campbell maybe being sent down. Whatever you want to say, it is one of those situations right now where we finally get a goaltender with NHL experience into the mix, not named Stuart Skinner or Jack Campbell. Whether or not he plays a game, you know how the third string goaltender situation plays in Edmonton the past 3 years, doesn't seem to matter. We'll find out. That's where we're sitting on that. That's all the news and notes for the for sure's that we have. Obviously, the Skinner baby thing, maybe not for sure, but it is what it is at this point. That's what we know so far. What we don't know is when Mr. Evander Kane will be back. However, it appears today multiple sources seem to report that 2 to 3 days, 2 to 3 games. I don't know what it is exactly. Like I said, I've been disconnected from this one so far. Listened to a little bit on the radio, watched a little bit of the first period. I've gotten the gist of the game so far from whoever's watching it. And right now, what it looks like is for the Oilers, because of everything else I've read, Evander Kane could be back in some 2-3 before the All-Star game. And there's remarkable progress on his wrist injury. That much we knew when he was out there skating the solo laps at practice about a month ago. So this is now an agreed upon thing from the Oilers to increasingly look at getting Evander Kane back in the lineup sooner, and maybe more of a selfish thing because the Oilers desperately need another point per game producer in the top 6. That is which Evander Kane would help. So that's where we find ourselves right now, friends. You got the Stuart Skinner situation, Calvin Pickard, Vinny Desharnais, and yes, of course, Evander Kane slowly but surely and almost certainly working his way back into the mix this month. So there's a lot busting through in this hockey game, and as we go right now, it's 4-1 for the LA Kings, 4-0-1 in the second period. The Oilers have it in the offensive zone. They're looking to pressure. Penalties have killed us tonight, and I imagine will kill us when the final score is announced at the end of the game. But it's another one of those nights, right? The Oilers decide not to show up, whether it be defensively, on the PK, goaltending, whatever you want to choose to blame tonight. Hey, it's your opinion, not mine, because I haven't watched enough, and we'll talk about it tomorrow when everybody's up in arms, either about winning a comeback insane game that I missed because I was sleeping, or, of course, Well, losing a crappy game on the west coast of the United States. All right, friends, have yourself a great evening. I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. Thanks so much for tuning in this evening. Again, if you get a chance, consider hitting that subscribe button. Really appreciate having you along. If you are a regular subscriber, but I'd love to have you if you're a regular viewer that hasn't had a chance yet. All right, good night, friends. Best of luck the rest of the way home. We'll talk to you tomorrow.